Welcome back, guys, to a new episode of KTSW Sports 360. I'm your host, Gage Sutton, with my co-host, Josh Orozco. And today we have a very special guest, assistant producer of the San Antonio Spurs, Taylor Hare. Taylor, how you doing, man?
Good, guys. How's it going for y'all?
Can't complain, man. It's
going well.
COVID,
with COVID, yeah. But, other than that, going well.
Yeah, crazy times, but I'm glad to be here with y'all.
All right. So I guess, Josh, you want to get started with these questions that we have for Taylor, man?
Oh, of course. The first one for Taylor here is, how far out in advance did the preparation begin from hearing about the start of the NBA to the first Spurs broadcast of the restart?
It's a great question. So we've been hearing, different things throughout the entire hiatus. Are we going to play? Is the season canceled? Will there be a bubble? Will there be no fans? It's kind of gone all over the place. Every week, honestly, we've heard different things. I would say probably early June, maybe, is when we heard, okay, it's going to be a bubble. There's a chance that the Spurs will be in it because we're technically out of the playoffs, but we heard that they might include some playoff teams. So at that point, it's who's going to be there? What are we going to do? How are we going to cover it from our end? Will we broadcast them? Will they all be on ESPN? Things like that. Still a lot up in the air. But once we got a little closer, we found out we were allowed to send one producer for photography, for stills and video. And there's a few of us who were up for it. And fortunately, I was chosen for it. That decision came about mid-June. And at that point, we had to start testing every other day, self-quarantining, going through a lot of meetings and orientations and things we can and can't do. And we arrived here on, July 9th. And our first game was, earlier this week. So we were here for a while before the first game started.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess this kind of goes with this question. Since everything kind of came last minute, what kind of difficulties have you guys encountered with having to do a lot of the stuff remotely and having Bill and Sean at the AT&T Center and stuff like that?
So it's kind of a weird dynamic, no doubt. It's unprecedented. It's something that you don't ever want to do. You always want to be at the arena, Bill and Sean. So that's different. It's different for them. It's different for our truck crew. But the main thing is there are broadcasts like this, not NBA, but like soccer, some baseball, some others where it's done from a studio and they're just watching screens. So it's not something that's never been done before. They're not. I mean, Sean probably hasn't done much of that, but it's a lot easier than you would think it would be. It's just kind of weird watching on a television screen instead of in person. So.
When you compare the broadcast from before and after the pandemic emerged, how much has aspects such as communication with the crew been affected?
It's a good question too. I think we still are in pretty good communication with each other. We have a weekly Zoom meeting, like a happy hour where we all talk, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, text. We are all pretty close together outside of work too, so we stay in constant contact. So as much as it's changed where we might not see each other daily, we're still, nothing much has changed there.
Right. And like you said, you were lucky enough to be one of the people selected to, go to the bubble and stuff like that. So what has your experience been like inside the bubble? And do you have any stories about any of the players or anything like that?
It's actually been really cool. So like I said, this is kind of an unprecedented thing. We had no idea what we were stepping into. We didn't know we've been tested every day. Are we walking into a place where everyone's been tested? Is it we're in Disney World essentially? So are there, just random people walking around? What's going on? Can we ride the Ferris wheel? But once we got here, we learned that our hotel, there's 3 hotels teams are staying at, and ours, they're all blocked out from anyone coming in or out. So we can't leave and they can't come in. So we are isolated in that aspect. We get daily meals. We have a team room that people hang out in. It's pretty well set up, to be honest with you. It's very routine. We get a schedule every day: breakfast at this time, lunch at this time, practice here, dinner here, COVID testing here. We get tested daily as well. So I don't know if y'all seen the reports, but every single test or every report that's come out, there's been 0 cases here. So it's working, which is exciting. To a story, we've had a ping pong tournament and a cornhole tournament so far, which have gone well. I think all the players have enjoyed hanging out with each other, because when there's no COVID, after the game you just drive and go home. We're here, you kind of have to hang out and everything. So not that they don't before, I don't mean it like that, but it's kind of a nice camp-like feel. Everyone eats together, everyone hangs out. So it's been really cool seeing all the guys together and messing around in something outside of basketball.
You actually tweeted out earlier today with pictures saying week 4 in the bubble. Where is the first place that you plan on going to once the season concludes and you're able to leave the bubble?
This is a great question because you still can't go that many places with COVID, I know, but there's no pizza in the bubble, so I'm dying for pizza. I think which we can talk about dining options at some point, but there's anything else you pretty much want. There's places you can order, there's room service, things like that, but no pizza. So first stop is pizza. Second stop is some vacation with a beach or a swimming pool. So.
Okay, and that sounds awesome. So I guess the DoorDash thing with Kelly Oubre isn't true then? You can't DoorDash pizza to your hotel room?
No, we have an NBA app, like a campus app that has certain food places you can get stuff on. And I think at first there was some DoorDash problems and people were doing that, but I think they figured that all out. So it's I swear, guys, like anything you could think of, the NBA has thought of to make this like smooth sailing for everyone. And so I think at first they're like, well, yeah, you can DoorDash, but no, I don't, so it kind of took a second, but now there's plenty of options for everyone. So.
Well, I think we can all say we're pretty relieved that everything's working out, that all the players are safe, and that everyone inside the bubble is safe. But there was a point where everyone thought the NBA season was kind of up in the air. So during that time when the season was suspended, what did you do? Like, how did you kind of like prepare for like, no season continuing?
So as y'all know, I work on the broadcast side and the social media side. So our digital department actually had to work in overtime during the hiatus because you don't want your channels to go dark. You want to give your fans content during this time. And I'm sure y'all have seen some of it, but we actually did a lot of pretty cool stuff during the hiatus and worked really hard remotely, which was incredible that we all could come together like that over Zoom and everything. We did an all access Austin Spurs series that we shot in March. And then pretty much finished up right before COVID hit. And we also did Spurs Voices, which was about the Black Lives Matter movement and our players' thoughts on that. We've done a few things to keep we actually upped our production value in the hiatus than we did before. So I think that's something we were very proud of and something we enjoyed. But the whole time we were just trying to do as much as possible until we knew what was going to happen, because no one knew. So like I said, we were getting information weekly. Every other day we'd hear something different. So it's very difficult, but I think we did all right with it all. So.
And you've mentioned a few amazing projects, but what has been the project that you're most proud of being a part of, and why?
Oh, that's really good. I'll start with the Austin Spurs one. While we've always wanted to do something like that, kind of a Hard Knock style thing in our views, but that was something that I actually got to lead and do, and it was a great experience and something we can build on moving forward. We had the Spurs stories last summer where we went to Reading, Pennsylvania with Lonnie Walker, Denver with Derek White. Those are all things that are incredibly fun and stuff that should just the very beginning of that. We have a lot more of that coming. So.
And just to kind of go back to the bubble, you've been saying that the NBA has been doing such a good job. What do you think other leagues could do to like follow in the footsteps of the NBA?
That's a nightly question. Like you see in baseball that, people are testing positive and everything. I honestly don't know what the right answer is to that. And I think someone much smarter than me would have to give you that. But what the NBA is doing well is we're all in a bubble. There's no outside interference. We're getting tested daily. I don't think that's necessarily possible for other sports in a way, Baseball, how are they going to do that? They're going to bring everyone for that long of a season. Football. So I think they'll figure it out. I think we're all just, like I said, adapting on the fly. Basketball had a schedule. We need to figure this out by this date or it's not going to work. And they did. So I have a feeling the NFL will. Baseball will have its problems, but I'm sure they'll figure it out too. But it's very interesting to watch, honestly. And, I mean, the NBA is so progressive in every area, so I'm not surprised at all that they have figured it out, and I hope it stays that way all the way through the finals. But you never know.
And the bubble sounds like a tight-knit community, really. Who have you ran into? Any big stars? Who have you ran into?
So like I said, there's 3 hotels. At our hotel is the Trailblazers, the Kings, the Wizards, the Grizzlies, the Pelicans, and us. So off that, Zion's here, Damian Lillard's here, Devin Booker's here, and DeMar DeRozan. I would say those are probably the biggest names here. And I see them almost daily, honestly, walking from where we eat, our team room, to the hotel is a good, 10-minute walk, and you see people daily walking there. So I got tested at the same time as Zion yesterday. Saw Devin Booker right when they got off the bus after he hit that big shot yesterday or 2 days ago. So you see a decent amount of people around. And then also we can travel from different hotels. So I've seen Kawhi once at our hotel. I've seen a few other people. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. And we saw all the other activities that some of the players have been participating in, like the fishing and, just stuff of that kind of nature. Have you done any of that stuff?
I've done a little bit. I fished some. Unfortunately, my job is to capture most of it. So if a player's doing something, I'm more there with the camera. Okay. I was in the ping pong tournament in an early round, but I won, but I had to forfeit because I needed to film the players doing it. And cornhole, I was going to be with a player, but that didn't really make sense if I needed to shoot it. So, but yeah, I've had plenty of fun, a lot of exciting things. I brought my Xbox, so I'm playing Call of Duty with friends back home. Plenty of stuff to fill the time.
You're a Texas State graduate as well. And as as me and Josh are in the mass communication school and we want to go into, broadcasting and stuff like that, what would be the best advice you could give for, kids like us?
I think the best thing is just to be flexible. Like I went into this wanting to be on camera, wanted to, become whatever, Sports Center, blah, 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 that we all want. But you need to be flexible and understand that there's only so many positions, and you need to, wherever you're at, find out what is missing and what you can improve and stick with that. So I started as a broadcast intern and realized, just watched, didn't say much for 2 weeks and just watched and what could I help with? And kind of just stayed with it. And at some point you'll become irreplaceable. And somehow I got over to the digital side, learned how to edit a lot better. Texas State helped a lot with that. But I kind of abandoned the idea of being on camera, and with this face wouldn't have worked out very well for me. But learned how to shoot and edit and also work on the broadcast and help with all sorts of areas. So it's you're needed in multiple areas. I would just say be flexible and realize that you're not going to get that job you want right out of the gate. You got to grind. You kind of have to, whenever you're told no, just keep going. So, and you never know what will happen. So just keep trying.
And that's very good to hear, not just us as Texas State students, but students all around the country, just to have that motivation and to be persistent and be flexible. It's some great advice. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. Just trying to think of what else I should tell y'all. We have a magic band that we literally wear everywhere, and we get scanned right when we walk in the door, any door, and it's green means we're clear, we're COVID free, we've been tested today. If it's blue, we have to go get tested and can't go anywhere. So like I said, it's really locked down in a good way. So you feel really safe here. Everyone's wearing masks. The games are incredibly fun. It's weird with no fans, all that, but it's a cool experience, no doubt.
Well, I guess I could ask that. Where are you during the games?
So I will send you all a clip. if y'all want it, but I'm baseline, I'm shooting. So any of that slow-mo stuff on our Spurs socials where I'm sitting, I can send you all a few pics for this if you want. But yeah, it's a station seat with my laptop and my computer. So I'm taking stills, or my laptop and my camera, taking stills and video, and I'm sending it back to producers in San Antonio who will edit it for social. So I'm essentially, Patty Mills hits a big three. I'm going to film until there's a break. I will edit it, color correct it, send it back, and they'll go from there with it. So we have the process down pretty well, to be honest.
Oh wow!
So,
I honestly didn't know that's how you guys were gonna do it. But
oh my God,
Yeah.
it's nuts. And there's a lot more steps to it than that, but it's we can go through game like at the beginning of the game to the end if you want, but it's a fun process. I get there probably 2.5, 3 hours early so I can get the first bus. I'll shoot arrival shots of them getting off the bus, them in their fashion, their gear. Players love those, and you send them to the players as well for their social media accounts. And then we get them in the locker room, their jerseys, them warming up. We have different sponsorship obligations. So like we need Lonnie Walker warming up, shot on a Samsung phone, and that's our Samsung, thing. So there's a lot of different things, but I shoot stills and videos, send them all back to our social people, and they decide what to use, what not, because there's no way I could do all that in real time.
That's amazing. And now we know whenever the Spurs broadcast is, we know exactly where you are. So now we can see, hey, there he is.
Yep.
Right there. So that's cool.
Hey, we interviewed that guy.
We did. There's Taylor, right? There's Taylor.
I'm the guy hunkering over in the corner shooting nonstop. It's been fun, guys. It really has. It's incredibly surreal. I can't believe I'm here. It's flown by, honestly. As you said, I posted something today. I can't believe it's been 4 weeks since we got here, and we'll be here who knows how long. So hopefully we can make it into the playoffs and work and play longer. But it's been a surreal experience, no doubt.
Yeah, and as a Spurs fan, I'd love to hear that. Currently climbing up at the 9th seed, and we just gotta keep going. But
and how about the production and the producers? Either social media or broadcast. Is there a tight knit group as well for the broadcasters?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our broadcast group is really tight. The truck is Bill and Sean Collum. That's how I started. Daniel Ashcraft, who's a Bobcat. Mike Kikarillo is a Bobcat. Avery Schneider, Bobcat. Lamar Wilkerson, Bobcat. There's a lot of Bobcats there. So that's a cool thing. We all have that in common. We all talk about the football games. We all have very similar interests. We all love sports. So we all get along incredibly well together. The digital side, our content team is what I'm technically in. Most of us have been together for 3+ years, and we also are very close knit. So we have a chat. We talk daily. We have a happy hour later today, and those usually run 3 hours of just on a Zoom talking, venting, having a cocktail at the end of the day or at the end of the week. So it's a really good group. The Spurs are lucky in that front. When I started, there was, some people the chemistry is just great now. It always hasn't been that way, but we're in a really tight, good spot right now.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember this, Taylor, but when I interned for Bill Land a few years ago, I got to sit in on those dinners with y'all right before the games, and I could tell just how much fun y'all had together on the road and stuff like that. So it's good to see that you guys have carried on the relationship.
Just give each other crap the whole day. It's pretty much all we do.
I remember that. Well, it doesn't seem like we have any more questions for you, but do you have anything that you want to say to our listeners or our viewers, I guess?
Well, other than apologize for stuttering through this because I wasn't as prepared as I should have been. But feel free to reach out again anytime. I'd love to talk to y'all again. It's just keep working. You learn so much through school, but you learn so much after school too. School kind of opens that door, but that's not near the end of the learning. And you just need to keep trying, keep working hard, and you never know what will happen. I did not ever expect to be here. It's still surreal, but it is, you just put your head down and work, and you never know what will happen.
All right. Well, I guess that about does it for this episode of KTSW Sports 360. I'm your host, Gage Sutton, and I was joined by Josh Orozco and our very special guest, Taylor Harris. So thank you, Taylor, for coming on to this awesome episode. And make sure that you guys follow us on KTSW Sports on Twitter, on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube so you guys can keep up with more of the video content that we're posting. But other than that, have a good one.